Welcome to the Butterfly Effect. I'm Chris Horner. This is stage 1 of Tour of Romandie, day 2. Yesterday was the prologue. Ethan Hayter won. He rides for Ineos. And so today, when the cameras come on with 75 kilometers to go, there's a break up the road of 5 riders with Thomas Champion from Cofidis represented, Julius Johannesson from Intermarché, Tim Naberman from DSM, Antoine de Bones from the Swiss national team, and Valerie Thibault, his teammate on the Swiss national team. Those 5 riders got about 2.5 minute gap when the race coverage comes on. They had a maximum lead of about 4 minutes. Now behind, it's Ineos riding, of course, right? They won this stage yesterday in the prologue with Ethan Hayter. And the big topic here on the Butterfly Effect, for me anyways, was whether or not if Ethan Hayter was going to start riding at the front with Ineos because he's race leader starting here at stage 1. Now when the cameras come on, we see the whole Ineos team there on the front of the peloton pulling. And then when we go to the back of the peloton, there's Ethan Hayter back there. Solo, all by himself. So he's not going to change his strategy, right? He loves to ride at the back, and he's going to continue to ride at the back even as race leader here. Now, if I'm the director in the car, I'd be losing it. There's no way I could have race leader at a World Tour race, Romandie, this quality in the European race field, and you got your race leader back there all by himself. I would be losing it in the car. There's just no way I could put up with it. Now, I understand there's a lot of reasons why riders ride back there. Some want to chit-chat, they want to relax. When the racing came on and the cameras showed Ethan Hayter back there, Nico Roche, the commentator for GCN, he said, hey, sometimes guys just want to go back there for 10, 15 minutes and relax a little bit. And I understand that even at this point in time if you want to be back there for 10 or 15 minutes. But we all know, and Nico Roche must know this too, that there's no way Ethan Hayter's going to find his way back up to the front. That's why we brought it up yesterday on the Butterfly Effect. So when I'm listening to the commentators there from GCN, from Nico Roche, I don't understand why they don't start going in on Ethan Hayter here. He's wearing the race leader's jersey at a World Tour event. I don't know, maybe they're friends. And sometimes that's the problem. When you bring in bike racers to commentate for bike races, they were friends with all these guys. They personally know these guys. They have drinks with these guys. They hang out at the bars with these guys. They might have family members that know each other and they all hang out and have barbecues together. So they don't want to let go. But that's not what this is about. This is a pro sport. You have to be at the front, Ethan Hayter. You can't be hanging out at the back. I would be pulling my hair out. And I understand a lot of guys could be back there just because they can't handle the stress or the pressure at the front. And sometimes they're scared. Many times throughout my career, I've been scared. So I don't want you guys, you viewers, to be watching this here on the Butterfly Effect and think I wasn't scared. I was scared many times. Many times, almost at every race I did, I was scared. 1 year during the Giro, I'm at the front. We're starting the last descent on this crazy stage. Raining, miserable conditions, can't see anything. We're going through this tunnel, and it's half open, and then, of course, blocked off from the cliffside on the other side, so it's really dark. There's no lights in the tunnel at all. It's raining. It's cloud cover. My glasses are covered in muck from the dirt flying up all day from the rain. And as we're going through this tunnel, I'm starting to get scared, and I'm backing off. I'm probably 10th, 15th position. I'm incredibly close to the front, maybe even top 5 at this moment. And I'm getting a little scared. I'm starting to drag the brakes a little bit, and I'm backing off the gap up to the riders in front of me. And at that point in time, I just thought about, do you want to be a bike racer or do you not want to be a bike racer? Because at this moment, regardless if they crash at the front or not, there's no way you can stop at these speeds and get your bike under control, no matter what the gap is. You could be 100 meters gap from the rider in front, or you could be 200 meters back there. At 60 miles an hour, in the rain, going down the descent, not being able to see, going through a tunnel, if they crash in front, it's luck whether if you make it through or not. But I know this for certain. If there is a crash, I want to be in the front because there's less chances of the 4 guys, 5 guys, 10 guys in front of me at that moment crashing than there is at 200. Because if you're back there at the back of the field and there's 175 riders in front of you racing curb to curb, if there's a crash, you're going to lose the race leader's jersey. So that's why I stressed it yesterday, and that's why I wanted you guys to watch it today and see if Ethan Hayter was going to move himself to the front. Now, many times the cameras go back to the back there, and we see Ethan Hayter talking with Ethan Verne from Quickstep. those two, we got the two Ethans back there chit-chatting throughout a good portion of the beginning part of this stage. And we'll only get to watch from 75 kilometers to the finish today, so we don't even know what happened the first part of the race of how much time Ethan Hayter spent back there, but I assume it was probably most of the stage. Now, and there'll be a moment in time when G. Thomas passes Ethan Hayter, who's sitting at the back, and at this point in time, I don't even see Garrett Thomas make eye contact or nudge or anything that's resembling, that's my team race leader right there, Ethan Hayter, as Garrett Thomas just goes straight past the back of the peloton and straight up to the front. Now, Ineos will ride at the front all day long. That group of 5 will finally blow up with 2 riders going up the road, and Champion will go up there and take the KOM points and take the KOM jersey at the end of today's stage. But those 2 will get caught with about 30 kilometers to go. Now, with 40 kilometers to go, just before the 2 breakaway riders were caught and everything was reeled back together, Ethan Hayter found his way back up to the Ineos train at front. And then with 30 kilometers, when they catch the break, Ethan Hayter's all the way at the back of the peloton again. So, if you're looking at it from Ethan Hayter's standpoint here and from the directors at Ineos, remember, once the break is all back together, anything can happen. So if you're a fan of staying back there and relaxing and keeping yourself fresh and not having to deal with the stress of the stage, that's fine when there's a break up there of 5. I still don't endorse it at all in any way whatsoever, but at least there was a break of 5 up the road throughout the stage. Now it's 30 kilometers to go. Ethan Hayter is still at the back again, and his whole team, Ineos, is on the front driving, and it's getting curb to curb up there. Now with 15 kilometers to go, it's Fernando Gaviria, UAE Team Emirates, and the Colombian rider wants to get on the front with the Ineos boys and start pulling. We'll see him do the little hand gesture with his left hand there in the picture, and this means he wants to get up to the front and start rotating through. Ineos are all up for it, and they go ahead, applaud him, and have him jump on the front. Only problem is now the peloton is going extremely fast. It's going slightly downhill to a right bend there. Fernando Gaviria is on the front. He'll come through on the right side of the right turn there, and he'll fade a little bit to just past the left and center of the road. Now he'll move back to the center of the road, and now it's Ineos. Amador, I believe it is, but I can't tell from the picture. He's yelling up there to Fernando Gaviria to move all the way to the left. When Fernando Gaviria moves all the way to the left, all of a sudden there's bikes flying all over the place as there's a massive crash. Now this crash was caused from Ineos up front. Not directly their fault. I understand. They're bike racing. They want to put everyone on the left side. But as soon as Amador pointed to Gaviria to move all the way to the left side of the road, once he moved left, that's squeezing that whole peloton over to the left side of the road. And for certain, that's what's causing the crash. Everybody back there is hitting their brakes hard. At that point in time, it was a mistake for Ineos to ask Fernando Gaviria to move over that aggressive. When he did, everybody's are just going everywhere. And Ineos are going to pay the price because guess what? It's Ethan Hayter at the back of the peloton, and that crash back there blocks up the road. Ethan Hayter goes down on the right side of the road. He will not see the front here of the peloton again. On top of that, right after the crash, the cameras go back up to the front of the peloton. It's Team Ineos on the front, and they did not even blink with their team race leader, Ethan Hayter, back there, who many riders in the interviews today during the race coverage had predicted that Ethan Hayter was the big favorite to win today's stage 1 in the sprint coming up the last 1 kilometer to the final here. But Ineos, no hesitation whatsoever. This tells me that the director back in the car has had enough of Ethan Hayter staying back there at the back of the peloton, because when their team does not even hesitate a second to slow the pace down at the front for their race leader, Ethan Hayter, that means they're here racing for Garrett Thomas, and Ineos will stay full gas at the front of the peloton. That's reduced to about 50 or 60 riders at this point in time with 14 kilometers to go in the race. Now, with 6 kilometers to go, it's the Frenchman, the French national champion, quick-step rider Remy Cavagna is throwing in attack. This is his trademark here, style of riding for Remy Cavagna. He throws in a big attack, and now we'll start seeing other teams back there jumping on the front, because Israel, Startup Nation, they want a sprint here for the chance to win stage 1, and Bahrain victorious. They're on the front too, chasing, because let me remind you guys, it was Dylan Toombs that won Flèche Wallonne just about a half a week ago. So Bahrain victorious want the Frenchman Remy Cavagna back back in the fold. They'll bring the French rider Cavagna back with 2 kilometers to go in the race. And then at one point, 2 kilometers to go, it's UAE Team Emirates leading the peloton. And as the rider up front, he'll pull off, swing hard right, almost crash the rider from behind on the right side of the road there. And then Team Ineos is back on the front with just about 1 kilometer to go. With 800 meters to go as the climb has started proper, it's the American Brandon McNulty, UAE Team Emirates, throwing in a huge attack. He's starting to split the peloton up, and it's Rowan Dennis that directly follows the American rider's wheel. Just a little bit behind in the picture there, it's Dylan Teuns. Rowan Dennis is on some flying form as he catches Brandon McNulty. He doesn't hesitate. He gets on the gas full as he's going 100% on the pedals through all the left and right turns. He's got a gap to everyone. Dylan Teuns, we just barely see him in the picture back there with about 400 or 500 meters to go. Rowan Dennis has got a huge gap, 300 meters to go. The gap is still impressive up to the Jumbo-Visma rider who's fully on the pedals and committed to winning here at stage 1 at Romandie. With 200 meters to go, Dylan Teuns is back in the picture, but Rowan Dennis still has a pretty sizable gap. With 100 meters to go, we start seeing the wheels fall off of Rowan Dennis, and as he's starting to feel the pressure on the pedals, Dylan Teuns is slowly bringing in the Jumbo-Visma rider. With 25 meters to go, they're side by side, and with the bike throw, it's Dylan Teuns, Bahrain victorious, who throws his bike at the line and wins stage 1. Now Jumbo-Visma's Rowan Dennis, who was spectacular for 700 meters here on this final climb, he just loses the stage, but he will be race leader at the end of today's stage, and time bonuses gained of 6 seconds to Rowan Dennis over the favorites behind. Third on the stage, Mark Hirschi, UAE Team Emirates, lost 2 seconds on the stage. Geraint Thomas will finish back there losing seconds to Rowan Dennis. Now today's stage, let me back it up just a little bit to the interview way back at the beginning of the stage. It was Dylan Teuns who gave the interview who said, "Timing is everything." Dylan Teuns, it could not have been timed any closer than today's stage 1. Congratulations on the victory. Your interview was spot on. Timing was everything. It was a bike throw at the line. Congratulations, Dylan Teuns, on your second victory in 1 week with Flèche Wallonne, and now here at stage 1 at Tour of Romandie. Now, with all the crashes back there, I can't possibly list all the general classification favorites, but Max Schachmann, Bora Hansgrohe, he lost big time here on stage 1. And a host of other riders. So make sure you head over to one of the cycling websites and get a breakdown on who all the GC favorites are that lost time. But when we're talking about Rowan Dennis, he gained time on all the favorites, putting him in the race leader's jersey here at Tour of Romandie. Look out for Rowan Dennis. I think he's going to wrap up this Tour of Romandie if his Jumbo-Visma teammates can stay together and keep him out of trouble on these next 2 road stages. When we get to that last individual time trial stage, Rowan Dennis is on form. Geraint Thomas, remember, last year's previous winner here for Ineos, they didn't hesitate at all for Ethan Hayter when he crashed with 15 kilometers to go. That has to be their GC favorite here for Ineos, and he's going to have to pull something out of the bag on the mountaintop summit finishes for tomorrow and the next day, and then he's going to have to beat a flying Rowan Dennis in the individual time trial on the last day here at Tour of Romandie if Ineos want to repeat their victory from last year. Make sure you guys like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next edition of The Butterfly Effect.